What's up, everyone? I'm Rizwan, and today I will be reviewing Interstellar. So, this is a movie directed by Christopher Nolan from 2014. It's considered one of the best sci fi blockbusters of all time, and I've recently seen this movie in IMAX. And it's not the real IMAX, but it's I think, the Xenon version. I could not get the laser IMAX version this time. Um, so yeah, this is gonna be the review of the film. This is not the first time I watched it. I have watched it many years ago during the time that it came out. Around the time that it came out, I couldn't get in cinemas because I was still quite young, and I think I was busy with studies, so I couldn't find the right time to go to the movies. And that was the case for a lot of the films around that time. Like, I was just really busy with studies, and sometimes I just didn't have pocket money, so I couldn't go to the movies. So this time I decided, okay, the movie had a re-release in IMAX, so we should go and check it out. So initial thoughts are that, the first time that I watched this movie, I thought it was very good. It was very entertaining, but I always felt like it could have been a lot better. Like, I felt that it was really holding back on a lot of things. Like, yes, these people, these this space mission, they go to different planets to see if it's viable for just for humans to live, because the planet is dying. That's the main part of the story, right? So I always felt like, okay, maybe the movie was going to feature some aliens or some more interesting planets, but instead it's very grounded and it's very personal. And the ending is also like, it kind of wraps it up a little too quickly for me at that time, at least. And because of that, I felt like, yes, the movie is definitely entertaining. It's pretty good, but it wasn't as crazy as it could have went. And of course, it borrows a lot from 2001: A Space Odyssey, so that's what I felt around that time. And watching it this time in the cinemas, in the big screen, I'd say it was such a difference and experience, honestly. Like, yes, I'm still getting the same story, the same incidents happening on screen, but I'm just experiencing this whole story in a bigger screen, in a bigger format. I'm able to concentrate more on the characters, the events that are going on. I'm able to pick up on more things, and I'm just able to concentrate on the movie much better for what it is. And I gotta say, man, it's such a amazing experience. Like, literally, it the way that Christopher Nolan decided to film this, and the way he films a lot of films, is with this very documentary style of approach. I'm not sure how many people picked up on that, but like, he uses a lot of handheld and really puts a lot of emphasis on close-ups. So even though the script might be silly here and there, like the dialogues is a little artificial, yes, that is all there for sure. But the way he films it, it makes it very grounded. It's like almost undeniably grounded in its feel and approach, and that adds a lot of weight to whatever script material he is handling. And yeah, that's why I felt like this particular movie, it works so well. Yeah, it's such a amazing experience, honestly. Like, the music, of course, the sound effects, the cinematography with the IMAX and the 35 millimeter. Yeah, it was such a amazing experience to witness that. And another thing, of course, is the performances from Matthew McConaughey, um, Mackenzie Foy, who plays his daughter as a younger version, and also Jessica Chastain, Anne Hathaway, and pretty much all the actors did a fantastic job. But I think, in particular, because of their relevance to the story and the importance to the story, I think Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway they did a really, really good job. Like the first time I watched the movie, I thought Anne Hathaway's character and also the performance could have been much better. But watching it on the big screen recently, I thought, wow, man, this really works. This is such a this because Anne Hathaway in other movies is, I think she's just trying to look good. She definitely is a great actress, but it always feels like she's this attractive woman, and that's the main catch in the movie rather than the performance. But in this movie, it really is the fact that she doesn't look like a typical attractive woman. It's just like her performance, like, this is the character, this is what you gotta do, this is what it is. And I feel like she really embodies this character in this movie, and I think it worked so well. Um, yeah, same goes for Matthew McConaughey. Like, he's not just trying to be a cool guy. He instead is a dad. He's a father. He's a guy who has been through a lot, and he's still like accepted what's going on, but he's like, okay, right now we saw this space, um, this rocket thing that lands near his farm, and he's like, okay, let's go check it out. And then he just goes on this adventure, and then he goes on this space mission, even though he thinks he doesn't want to leave his daughter, but he still goes on to it. And we get this very emotional story of this guy. He sacrifices his life, his time with his daughter, his family, just so that he can save humanity. And it's a really profound idea. And I think in this blockbuster format, I think Nolan really did it so well. Um, yeah, for me, it really worked out. Um, Getting to the cinematography, the special effects, and on the big screen, it's just magnificent. It's amazing. There's a scene where the ship goes into the black hole so that they can travel to the planets that they want to go. Wow, man, it's so amazingly done. It's like the kind of visuals that you must watch on the big screen. Yeah, it's a experience. I couldn't really describe it. And then the docking sequence, where there's this really tragic thing that happens. I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it. Um, the spaceship, they try to dock it, and the endurance, like I don't know how to describe that. I understand what it is. It's like the space station that they use as a general thing, and the spaceship that they have is a separate spaceship so that it's more mobile, so that they can land in different places, and then they have to dock it into the I'm not sure if it's the satellite or whatever, but the endurance thing is the satellite, so they dock it there, and then they use that to like go to different planets, or like it's yeah, I forgot exactly how it is, but there's a scene where they dock it, and then they use that to continue their mission. Yeah, that sequence was such a it's one of the best sequences in the movie, and it's also the music in there, the performance, it all comes together so beautifully. And again, the camera angles that are used is very much like a documentary. It doesn't feel like a normal movie. It's like the camera is mounted on the spaceship outside, and then there's this close up of the characters, and it feels like the cinematographer is just recording this real space mission that's going on. Even though it's a movie, it feels like it's a real thing that he's recording, and then it's being edited as it's like a real event, the way that it was filmed. So I think that really adds a weight to everything that is in the movie. Um, Now, I'm praising this movie so much. Is it that there's no flaws at all whatsoever? As I mentioned before, I think this movie definitely has some artificial dialogues in there. There are dialogues where it feels like the characters are just speaking those things just to sound more smart. Like, really quick quips, it didn't really feel like it organically went into the movie. But again, it's something that blockbusters do all the time, so I don't really know if I should fault the movie on that. But whenever it gets past that, I think the movie really works. So I thought if those really artificial dialogues were not there, I think it would have been it would have worked better, in my opinion. Aside from that, um, as I said before, the movie utilizes a lot of close-ups. I think if it utilized more wide shots in more places, I think it would have added more visual grammar to the movie, and it would have been a much more cinematic experience. I think it still is. It's an amazing cinematic experience. Definitely should watch in the cinemas, but I think it should have utilized more wide shots because this movie is an IMAX experience. It's meant to be watched in IMAX. So the more wide shots there are, the more it just uses the IMAX format much better if there are more wide shots, in my opinion. If there's a lot of close-up, it feels too like claustrophobic, and it feels like it's not utilizing the format enough, in my opinion. Another negative I can say is not the movie's fault necessarily. It is the okay. Before I move on to that, I want to mention one more negative. I think the ending is something that a lot of people did take issue with. I thought it was okay with the fourth dimension thing. I think the only issue I had is that, like with blockbusters, I think there's a tendency to explain everything, because if it's not explained, then the audience doesn't understand, and if they don't understand, then they're gonna think the movie's shit. So I think this movie explained it a little too much. Whenever Nolan always gets criticized for exposition dumps, and this movie has quite a lot of exposition dumps, as with other Nolan films. I think the exposition dump in the ending for the fifth dimension was a little too much. I think if it was left more as a mystery, like, you know, we don't know exactly what it is, but it is there, and it's like part of this thing that we don't understand. Maybe it would have added more of a mystery to that it would have made the audience think more and come to their own interpretation, I think, and it would have been much better, in my opinion. Yeah. And moving on from that, the issue I had outside of the movie, not really related to the movie, is that I watched this movie in a cinema that is not a real IMAX. So the image was really fuzzy. It was an IMAX screen, but it was not the laser IMAX. I think it was using old IMAX digital format. So it didn't really look that good, honestly. I still liked the experience because it was still a good movie. Yeah, I would have really preferred if I could have watched this movie in a real IMAX screen rather than the 2K IMAX, in my opinion. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my review of the movie. I think it's one of the best blockbusters. Does it compare to 2001: A Space Odyssey? Well, I've already reviewed 2001: A Space Odyssey in this channel, so you can check that review out. I think 2001: A Space Odyssey is its own thing, and it's one of the best sci-fi films of all time. And it's a very different movie from Interstellar. I think the concepts, ideas are very, very similar, and Interstellar takes a lot of inspiration from it, but it's a different approach, I would say. So it's not exactly fair to compare, in my opinion. If you do want to compare, I think 2001 is a better film. But yeah, I think Interstellar is still a very good experience. Definitely a experience to be viewed in the cinemas, and I think people should definitely watch it and watch it many times. Yeah, so that's my review, and I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye.